All right, Jason, how are you doing today, chef?
I'm fine. I'm fine. A bit tired, but yeah, I'm still here.
Well, appreciate you hopping on. I understand that you have just been awarded something at the UKCFA Awards, Outstanding Chef
Yeah.
of the Year. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
What- How
I
are you?
appreciate it.
How does that make you feel? Are you someone who's like driven by accolades? Regardless, how are you feeling?
I'm happy, to be honest, and humbled. And to be honest, the accolades in my mind, they belong to my dad that passed, because he wanted to be a chef and travel the world and cook, and he never got the opportunity. He's not my father by blood, but he's my father nevertheless. And he raised me even after him and my mother had parted ways. So he had raised me like his own, and he never told me about his aspirations to be a chef. Never, never did. And never put pressure on me to do anything. And I just so happened to fall into it, like pure luck. And then on top of that, more luck to be good at it, and then more luck to be driven like a beast sometimes. But he would always be so adamant to just get, even if it was a test on a HACCP test I passed and got a certificate for it, he always wanted it. So, in my mind, when I win things like this, that is him. But for me, what drives me is leaving a mark for the next generation, that people can see, look, someone has done something in this genre, someone has done something this way that encourages more Black, Caribbean and African chefs as well to feel free to express their food how they want, and feel free to move their food into any genre. And for people that might tell them, you know, why do you have to change it? Like, yeah, why don't we all drive the same car? Why do some people drive a Ferrari and some people drive a Volkswagen? You know, it's because people want different experiences, and different experiences in the Caribbean or African genre is worth pursuing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you for that context. One thing I noticed about you just in meeting you, the other day, and clear from this conversation, is that you are a very natural storyteller. The words just flow in a way that seems really organic to you. How do you feel like storytelling plays a role in your food and in your restaurant, Flava Pepper, in Brixton? What experience in that way do you want diners to get out of it? You call yourself a modern Caribbean cuisine chef. What does that mean, and how does that play out at your restaurant?
Well, first, to address storytelling, I don't think I'm a storyteller.
I
I
do.
think I think I speak from a place that has been silent for a very long time, and I don't really talk that much unless I meet someone that can engage me on food. If you ask me to speak on anything else, I'm mute. But once it comes with food, I have so much that, as my other half tells me, I always live inside my head. So I'm consistently having conversations with myself.
Yeah,
You're only crazy unless you answer back.
true.
And I answer back sometimes. But for me, it comes from a place that I think I do not argue a point for my well-being. I argue a point for all of us. And one thing is, my dad would always say is, you don't need to know if you're right or wrong. You just need to know if you're arguing for yourself or for everyone.
Mm.
When you argue for yourself, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying sometimes, it's from a place of selfishness. But once you argue for the betterment of every individual within your group, that is it comes from a place of caring, and it comes from a place of empathy, and it comes from a place of understanding and want to see everyone go forward.
Yeah.
So for me, when I tell stories, as you say, Rich, and for me, it's how I see things, it's how I feel, and it's how I understand things. So for me, it's for everyone. It's not just trying to put Jason Howard out front. Everyone would tell you if you ask me, "Oh, do you want to put your name on something?" I'd be like, "No, let the food do the talking." When people ask who did the food, you can then mention my name. So from that point of view, I don't think I'm a storyteller, but as people would say, I don't think I'm one of the best either. And people would say, "But you are one of the best."
Yeah.
And I find it sometimes the best way to keep myself humble and keep myself in the lane that I need to be in. Also about calling myself a modern Caribbean chef. The term modern Caribbean means utilizing modern tools and equipment to develop historical recipes while keeping the soul of the recipe. So for me, that is that is what modern Caribbean cuisine is. And as I tell people, it's like Caribbean food is this beautiful lady that is going out, and modern tools helps you to add earrings, it helps you to add a bag, it helps you to add some banging ass stilettos, things like that. To it just to get it into the future. And for me, it's what needs to happen. And some people might ask me, why do you think it need to happen? And I would say, well, if you took, and I think I told you this already, if you took all the tools we have and showed our ancestors how to use them, and you just send them back to the past, 100 years ago, what would our food look like now? And someday we will be someone's ancestors. So
Mhm.
what are we going to leave for them? So for me, that's modern Caribbean cuisine, leaving something for the next generation and utilizing modern tools to create something that enhances the experience of Caribbean cuisine. And for Flava Pepper as well. Flava Pepper is more of our family-run restaurant. It's not modern Caribbean cuisine. Even some people would say it looks quite modern. It has a good aesthetic, a good, how we put our food together.
Yeah.
This feel is very simplistic, and I feel it's very true to the fact of Caribbean cuisine. And a lot of people would ask me this question as well. Why didn't I pursue to do modern Caribbean cuisine here, my fine dining stuff? And I would say, to be honest, it's a way of understanding when and where. This was not the when, and this is not the where it should be at this point. So we just opened what was actually the best course of action for this space, and it was something very homey. We
Mm.
wanted it to feel like home. We wanted it to feel cozy. We wanted it to feel like very welcoming. And I think we hit that nail on the head with Flava Pepper as well.
Yeah. I visited just the other day. My family's from Barbados. I thought at home. Let's just quickly set the record straight. Thank you for all of that. Rice and peas versus peas and rice.
Rice and peas.
Is rice and peas in Barbados too?
Yes.
Really?
Rice and peas.
See, that's so funny because I saw it on your menu too. My family, we refer to it as peas and rice. So it's never like pigeon peas, like gungo beans, gungo peas. It's
Right.
peas and rice.
Yeah. So basically, gongo beans are actually beans,
Like
not
the pea
peas.
or pigeon peas.
Yeah,
Pigeon.
pigeon peas, correct. But the funny thing is to get pigeon peas consistently up here. When we first started, we had people bringing up packs of fresh peas for us
Yeah.
to do our peas and rice, but then there was a lapse in it. And me, as being a chef, I don't really like that. We want consistency. So we just use what is mostly available up here that we can get consistently. And it's sad to say it, but we would rather do field peas and rice. And is what would be a ginger say, peas and rice, field peas and rice. I myself love yellow lentil peas,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people that don't like that. So I can't cook what I like all the time, but to be honest, I would love to have field peas and rice, or even lentils. I love lentil peas and rice. So
So essentially, the difference between rice and peas and rice is the proportions.
no, to be honest, they're technically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some people just prefer to address or say things. It's like, that chicken curry chicken.
So I was at this, yeah, I was at this food truck and I'm like, can I have some peas and rice? And the girl laughed at me and she's like, I've never heard that. She's like, it's like saying chicken curry instead of curry chicken. I'm like, is it? Because that's how we've always called it. And it was
Peas and rice and peas. If you want, whatever you want. And I feel that that's quite difficult. If you said it, I'd be like, I know what you mean.
She knew what I meant.
Yeah, you know what I meant. It's like saying, can I get a blue sweater or can I get a sweater in blue? It doesn't make difference to me. So I'd be like, yeah, of course. I think she was just trying to be difficult.
I think it was.
Just trying to be difficult.
Yeah. No, I just had to say that because I mean I've always called it peas and rice, and I guess I
So
can.
peas and rice.
I'll just call it
Rice and peas, whatever you want. You just call it. There's actually no difference.
Yeah.
Like which one? Do you cook the rice first or do you cook the peas first? In which one?
My auntie
It's a big difference.
spoke the peas. I'd have to get back to
I don't know. Well, I think if you guys have people out there on the web that knows the difference, please tell me because I don't know. Neither. I'm lost.
I'll get back to you. Okay, well, let's switch to another vital ingredient. I imagine it's what you named your restaurant after. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Scotch bonnet, is that what inspires the name of your restaurant?
No, what inspired the name of the restaurant is pepper. So Caribbean cuisine is known for a lot of pepper, which is not correct at all. It's a cuisine of more flavor than the pepper. Hence, flavor, pepper, not pepper, flavor. So when people ask me, I say, wait, I say it's not pepper, then flavor. You have flavor, and then it followed with a little bit of heat. And that's why we call it flavor pepper, meaning that it's flavor first, and then we got pepper afterwards. Nothing good without pepper. You know, Caribbean people sometimes they will sit down, they got a beautiful, flavorful plate of food in front of them, and they'd be like, pass me the pepper sauce. They ain't taste it yet, but they want pepper sauce. And fair enough, if that's what you want, if you got taste buds like a coal miner, that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get. Fair enough. So we put flavor before pepper. So it's not pepper then flavor. So that is why we call it flavor pepper. And also there's a flavor pepper in St. Lucia that gives you the amazing flavor of Scotch bonnet without the heat. It's like a minuscule piece of heat. And those peppers are beautiful. So that is why we name the restaurant Flavor. Flava, just like Caribbean's flavor. Flavor. Pepper. Correct.
I think you've debunked what has been a misnomer or what continues to be this like idea that what makes West Indian food good is heat and spice, which it's just so much more nuanced than that. Clear from what you just said and just clear from what I've experienced. That said, your Scotch bonnet, your sauce, your pepper sauce, whatever pepper sauce you had when I went was delicious. And I believe your wife said that you sell it.
Yeah, we do.
It's really good.
We sell it. And the thing is with it is that if Caribbean, and it was a conversation we was having when we was there, the group of us, is that Caribbean cuisine, and a lot of people might come at me for this, but Caribbean cuisine is a cuisine that it's not easily taught. It's transferred. So you would find that people that learn to cook from the grandparents or the mothers can cook this with this, ancestors. You know how people say the ancestors will guide you?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something like that. And I can give an individual a recipe for curry goat. I can give an individual a recipe for cocoa and steamed fish. And it doesn't taste the same unless I cook it.
Mm-hmm.
And reason being is a lot of people feel Caribbean food is just show the ingredients in a pot or fry the hell out of something and then throw on the meat. It actually has some hidden techniques in it that have to be understood. So it's something like, like if you're making a fish stew my grandmother would actually, like a lot of people out there would actually throw the peppers, the onions, everything in the pot and steam. My grandmother will actually put the onions in first
Mhm.
and let them sweat.
Mhm.
And I only started to understand that when I started to be in the culinary industry and when I was in the kitchen with, with 2-star Michelin chefs and different things like that, and starting to see these little traits. Like, and then I would ask the chef, why did you saute the onions? And he would say it helps let the sweetness out, different things like that. When you add sugar, or salt, what happens with the, and I was like, wow, I now get it.
Yeah.
Why I can't get mine to taste like my grandmother is because my grandmother took these steps. And I know sometimes life is so fast and we need to make things a lot faster. Yes, fair enough. But we need to slow it down sometimes to regain that taste, that essence, the essence of our food. And I find that it's shifting a bit away from what it used to be because of time constrictions, because of different things are coming into play. Like they're trying to filter out gas, open flame into electric. And one of my questions was, how do we grill without electric, without coal or wood?
Mhm.
And it was something they couldn't answer, and we are still talking about that because I believe in a way forward, cleaner energy. But what about the recipes that are historically tied to these things? Will we lose them because of that? Are we not allowed to do that anymore? Things like that is, how do we recreate those authentic tastes without the authentic processes?
Yeah.
It's quite something that I tend to think on, because I'm not that person that is just going to say it can't happen, it can't happen, it can't happen. I'm that person who say, okay, it can't happen, but let's put our heads together and see
Yeah.
what we can come up with.
Yeah. In that way, um, I don't know how long you've been in London, but I imagine it's been for a bit. You obviously have worked in Michelin-starred kitchens, Connaught, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've since opened your own restaurant. On that note, what have been sort of like the hurdles, challenges, but also like upsides of being based in London, whether it's just like being inspired by the culinary scene or whether it's been like sourcing issues, like not being able to get flying fish? What have you needed to sort of overcome in your culinary sort of endeavors?
To be honest, what I think we need to overcome, and what are some, let me start with upsides.
Yeah.
Being in the Michelin, um being in the Michelin sector and stuff and seeing different things that happened in there, I think what it did, it gave me a greater appreciation for my cuisine. And it was like seeing your techniques being used at that level to deliver such a high quality of food and enjoyment, that you were like, that I was like, wow. And for me, I was the person that I would shut up. My mouth, I would be shut. I would just shut up and watch. And I learned so much by just keeping quiet and watching, like techniques, different things. Like even if I saw a recipe and I only saw half of it, I'm the individual to try to figure out, okay, this is half of the recipe. How does this make sense? I will break that down to a T and find my way to figuring out how can I get this done. But one thing too is, always I tend to figure out how to the easiest route to get something done. And I'm not saying the easiest route is me just cutting a recipe that might be 2 hours down to 3 minutes or something. No, I'm talking about bringing down the time must by near half an hour or something, which was something that I do a lot, and still got the results that the chef were looking for. Because sometimes we were asked to do recipes, and you would just get the recipe and you got to figure it out and deliver something that is amazing. So I found that that was something that I was quite good with, is critical thinking.
Yeah.
And I think I had to thank my mum for that. My mum used to do this exercise with me where she asked me, clean your room. And then I would be like, okay, I'm done. And then she'd be like, no, you're not. And they'd be like, yes, I cleaned everything. And she'd be like, no, come, come with me. And she would carry me by the door and she'd say, no, walk in and she would close the door. She'd say, open the door and walk in your room. I open the door and walk in the room. As a typical young man, I ain't see nothing. She said, stand back and stand up and tell me till you see it. When I calm down and I, get out of my head, whatever else I wanted to rush and go and do, I start to see little things like pop up like, oh, I didn't wipe the counter off. I didn't wipe the dresser off. I didn't move this. I didn't move that. Little things. And that exercise has helped me so much as an adult to sometimes calm down, get out of my head, and just look at a situation and understand it. And it is not just with food, is with staff, is with even everyday life. Sometimes I could see things coming before they get there. Like I would be so like, let me just draw a reference. I was in a bus and this guy was throwing this thing up in the air over and over. And this other guy was smoking a vape, bitch, and he shouldn't be. And I was like, oh God. And then the guy turned around and he's looking, and for the thing is just being aware. And I tell myself, you know what? Let me just move to the other side because I got a feeling he's going to throw this at him. I just moved to the other side. I so sad. I be like, I told him going at it on the bus. I'm like, oh God. And for me, it's the little things like that, just being very present in the time you're in and seeing little things that can make a difference.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that is one of the things for me that I've learned from my mom, but also from in the Michelin environment, seeing a lot of steps my grandmother would do and a lot of things she would do as well. And it also pushed me to search more for why they were being done.
Mm-hmm.
How did my grandmother know this? How did she know this step? Who showed her? And then then well following the ball of twine, it led it back to, being Barbados being colonized, the Caribbean, the slaves coming across, starting to see different recipes, like the Maroons, how they did jerk chicken. It wasn't jerk chicken at first, it was pork, wild pork. And they would dig a hole to do it, which is a technique that was done by nomads
Mm.
in the Arab regions to not send up smoke signals, allowing and different things like that was linked. So then when I went back now and I dig through the Arab catalog for recipes, I start to see some recipes that were linked to Caribbean ones. So, it was always amazing to uncover those lines as well. And that all came about from being in the Michelin environment and seeing different things. So I would say that is the benefits of being in that environment. And those benefits basically ended when Helen DeRose had cut ties, not cut ties, but she had dropped the hotel kitchens that were under her. And a new chef came in. And he was just, and the downsides, this is when downsides started, he was just abusive, not abusive, but condescending and not a nice person, and would say very degrading things like, you're not French, you don't understand nothing about food.
Mm.
You're lucky to be here, different things like that. So for me as well, and I will say this, I'm thankful for individuals like him because I have this thing in me. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm
Gold.
do it. And the only body that I've up to now can't seem to get over with that one is it's my fiance. Everything she tells me I can't do, she's always right.
There's an exception there.
There's an exception, but he would say a lot of derogatory things, and we will have rules in place, and he would deliberately show favoritism to his French chefs and also white chefs over myself because I was the only black person in the kitchen. But he would deliberately do things like like this guy was unbelievable. Like I cannot express it. But for me, it was being silent and getting back at an individual, not really getting back, but showing an individual Okay, you told me I couldn't do it. I did it. And it, like, just drawing a reference, there was this competition that happens every 2 years in the UK. And just to get into the semifinals was really hard, really hard. And it I can't remember if it was the AAC or something, but I can't remember. I have the email still. And I told him I was applying. So when you are applying for this competition, the your company or the needs to get behind you, so they will help sponsor you, buy you stock, give you time off to do comment. And I told him I was doing it, and he was like, "It doesn't make sense. You're not going to get through anyway." Like different things like that. So he didn't give me support. And what I did was I went out, I bought a box of duck myself, and I bought all the ingredients myself. And I would just come to work on my days off and break down the duck, learn the techniques, take the pictures for the competition, because you had to send in all the pictures, all of your breaking down techniques, XYZ. And this was a competition that had sometimes near 1,500 entries, or near, I think, between 15 to 5,000 entries, something so, but I don't want to exaggerate it. And he was like, "Don't worry, people have tried this competition for years and years. Don't worry." But for him, even for him, and this is how ignorant he was, for him, if I got through, it would it would reflect on him in an amazing light. And he turned around, and when the envelopes come, if you have a big envelope, you got through. But he knows this, and if you had a thin envelope, you didn't. So I got this thin envelope, and he made a point of bringing it to the kitchen and giving it to me in front of all of my team. "Well, here's your envelope. Seems you didn't get through because it's very skinny."
Yikes.
Like, this guy was nasty, let me tell you. But I just wouldn't let him get me down. And he gave me envelope. I opened it, and it told me it didn't get through. If you want to send your feedback, you can email this individual. So I said, "Well, you know what? I'm going to email the individual because I want to learn." 2 weeks later, I got an email, and I was like, "Why are they emailing me again?" The email says, "Could you please send your requirements for your brown stock?" And it had 45 other people. So 45 people get through to semifinals.
Okay.
And I was like, "So computer type, excuse me, I think you made a mistake. I'm not supposed to get this email." Then I got back an email, technically within minutes. "Oh, our apologies. This is a mistake, but you actually got through."
Oh, so
I was like, "What?" So when I got it, I had a friend called Tim, Australian guy. I sent it to him, and he was like, "Holy shit, you got through, you got through. What are you gonna do?" I said, "I can't do anything because the competition is actually in 2 days. I didn't get my dishes prepared or nothing. So I'd feel very underprepared and stuff. And two, I had to take care of my daughter and stuff. So it wouldn't have worked out for me." So they said, "Could you please send your brown stock and we will make sure you get everything?" And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christmas." So when I got it, when I got the email, what Tim did, because I went back to the kitchen, because within me, the fight was won. I didn't care if he knew or not. Tim sent it to him.
Oh, wow.
So I was in service.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, I was in service. And when I was in service, he came in. So he found out now that I got through. So now this reflects amazingly on him. He rushes in. I'm in service. He rushes in. Jason, I brought XYZ to relieve you. Please let us know what you need for the competition." And I was like, "What competition?" In my head now, I want him to admit it in front of the team. I'm like, "What competition?" He said, "The competition you got through to." I said, "No, I got a thin envelope. Remember, I'm playing stupid now, you know." He said, "No, you got the email today that you got through to the semifinals, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, I got the email. So aren't you through?" I said, "Yes, I am through.
Just wanted to hear it from you.
I just want to hear you say." And then he said, "Okay, well, we're going to make sure the XYZ." All of a sudden, now, again, all of these perks and again, all these resources. I said, "No, I can't do it. I'm sorry." He said, "What?" I said, "I can't do it. I don't have the time. I'm not going to be prepared. I can help you. I can help you." All of a sudden, he can help me. I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good." You remember? And in my head, if you want snipe, if you want to be snidey, it would be like, yeah, remember you said I was not skilled enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's how I joined that competition, because he told me I was not skilled enough.
Mm.
So I joined it and I did it. And he was like, so the same competition he told me I was not good enough for. And this is karma. This is how fate works.
Yeah.
I've now been a judge 3 years in a row.
Full circle moments.
But that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I didn't go through the competition, but look where I'm judging this competition now for the last 3 years, because I think they changed it up now, so it happens every year. So I've been a judge for the last 2 years, and they've just asked me again to be a judge for this next year coming. So now I'm going to be a judge for 3 years in a row. The same competition I was told I was not good enough.
Yeah.
So that is for young chefs out there. Don't get angry with people and you want to cuss and carry on. Take that defeat, whatever that verbal defeat, because sometimes you gotta shut your mouth and move on. And sometimes you gotta say certain things to represent yourself as well. I'm not saying for people to just stand there and take abuse. But for me, how I used it as I recycled it.
Mm.
I recycled it because some people say things to you to be right on the tip of that line. You know that line, that HR job. They stay on that line to remain in the job and not in HR. So he would do things and say them, and he would say them in the company of others that he knew you cannot get with. You can't.
Yep.
So for me, I recycled that and turned it into something positive. I didn't like pollute my mindset, being, I ain't not good enough. I this, next, and third. And now look at where I am. Look at how that has taken me forward. Everyone that comes into your space can teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
Or can motivate you. Choose wisely. Some can motivate you of what not to do, and some can motivate you of what to do. Yeah. So take that energy, whatever energy is it, and recycle it and make it be positive energy. That is my feedback on it, to be honest. I don't like to get vexed or angry. I like to get even.
Yeah. That's an important story. Well, also the fact that you had the sort of drive and curiosity to even email them after you had, so-called gotten rejected, which turns out you hadn't. But even if you had, that action in reaching out to them, who knows what that could have materialized. You could have gotten feedback. You could have
reached out to ask about what I went wrong. I never got a response.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I got a response. The response was not feedback. The response was they asking me for my brown stock requirements with qualified others. And I was like, I think you got the wrong person.
Yeah.
I didn't get through. And for me, that was when I was like, crap, I really got through.
Yeah.
So for me, even asking for feedback, I was not defeated not to ask for the feedback, because I want to get better. It's like when I did Great British Menu, I lost in the regional finals to one of the most amazing chefs called Jean. And I had to work side by side with him. So when it came down to us in final, he was there and I was here. I never felt envy. Like, I never felt envy. I never felt like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
When I lost to him, it just I was happy for him, but in a way I was like, yes, finally something I can chase after. It gave me something to chase. Like, how can I be better than I was on the day I lost?
Yeah.
And for me, just you know, it's something in me. It lit a fire in me, not to be better than him, but be better than the day I lost. And I was like, yep, how can I work on this? How can I get this done? How can I, learn more, absorb more? And for me, I think that is good for me, that we have to have losses sometimes. You can't always win. You have to have losses sometimes, because losses is where you develop from and get better. So for me, I was like, yep, and remembering that time when we was in the kitchen together. It was so much camaraderie. It was so much back and forth, and it was him helping me and me helping him, and it was good to lose. And that is one thing that I don't really fear as well, is losing, because um I lost my house to fire, and I was homeless in 2009. And being homeless, it just humbled me and showed me a lot. Like, this is what bottom feels like. And
Mm.
like bottom, for me, it was exciting because, in a way, not really exciting like that, come on, but exciting in a way like it's only up from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to basically get myself together because I was sleeping on the street. I was sleeping on the cellar of someone's house, and they didn't even know I was there.
Wow. This was in
And
London?
uh,
This was in London?
no, this was in Barbados.
Barbados.
Yeah, and I made my way from, and I I had lost my house to fire, so I had the clothes on my back. I had nothing, and I remember um I sitting down, and I was telling myself, you know what, is either prostitution, is either robbery, or is either cooking. And it's hard truths. Come on, you can't lie to yourself, because that is how I used to think.
Mm.
What are my what are my possibilities? What do I have? I had nothing. And I tell you, nothing, nothing.
Mm.
And at that age, I ain't even got money in the bank. Like, I living paycheck to paycheck, And at that point too, I wanted to buy this car, and I had about $1,800 of my money at home. So, um, when when that happened, I had nothing, and the government gave my sister and the kids that were living with us a house, and I had nothing. So I think they give me no, like they gave me $200 to buy some underwear and some clothes, and that was in a voucher.
Wow.
And I had to get myself together, and it was like, how do I? What do I do? What, I don't have no resources. I don't have this. I don't have that. And then it just dawned on me: stop saying you don't have. What's the first thing you have? You have life. What's the next thing you have? You have a talent. What's the next thing you have? And it took a while of critical thinking, and it was like, you know what? I have a restaurant that I work at that they don't use on Sundays. So I went with my friend and get a call. I asked, could I use the restaurant on a Sunday to do a dinner? I'm not asking for no money. I just want to do a dinner um to help raise some funds. And they said yes. And I was like, thank you. Then how do I get stock? I don't have no money for stock. But you know what I could do? I can write some wholesalers, tell them my situation, because it was on the news and all, and ask for some stuff. I
Mm.
don't want money, and that is what I did in letter. I said I don't want any money. I would just like some ingredients to put into doing this event.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got cases of rum, I got food, everything. And then it got crossed the right desk of someone that I used to jump with crop over every day. Amazing lady. She has passed now. And she hooked me up with one of her sponsors. I ended up on the radio. So look where I ended up. 2 weeks prior, I was on the street. Then I was on the radio in a studio sitting down. And also my aunt had given me somewhere to stay after she found out, because I wouldn't beg anybody for anything. She found out, she gave me this little bedroom, and it just snowballed from there. And I got the restaurant, I got all my stuff, and I got the dinner, and I got the cash that I needed, everything together,
And that
got
was it.
myself back on my feet. Then I migrated up to UK after meeting my wife and stuff. And it's just, that is how it was. So for me, it's never about, being down. Sometimes you need to be down so you can look up, because all we do sometimes is look down at what we did and what has passed and stuff, but we need to look up. So for me, I was never really that person. I can take the risk. If I lose it, I lose it.
Yeah.
Do it again. So
Yeah. Wow.
so that is where I've come from. And I tell a lot of people, what do you think I come from? I come from being homeless to thinking using my head, what do I have? And it's not, what do I not have? I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't. So sometimes when I hear people, I say, okay, so now tell me, what do you have? No, I got nothing. You're breathing, right? That is one. What's next that you can do? And for me, this is not the times that I was growing up. I'm now in my mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And in this time, you have more resources and more ways of generating income than anything else. It's incredible. So, I don't think there should be a reason we should be complaining about not being able to do something.
Amen. I mean, it just gave me a little chills. Thank you for that. Sharing honestly your origins to present story kind of naturally through this whole call. And it seems like the through line is intuition. You have kind of led with your intuition. And so to end things, maybe you'll come back to this conversation as like, I called it here. If you were to lean into your intuitive skills heading into 2026, what are you wanting to see, whether it's for you, whether it's for the larger culinary community in the UK or the global culinary community? What are you wanting to see more of intuitively heading into 2026?
Yeah, well, for me, to be honest, I would say what I would actually like to see more of is Caribbean cuisine being represented authentically, and for Caribbean cuisine to be represented also on a modern stage and receiving its star. This is not a dig at anyone, but every other cuisine has stars, nearly all of them. There's a lady, an amazing chef I can't remember where, but she has a street food stall. She has a star. They just gave another street food vendor in Mexico a star. Yet Caribbean cuisine is without one. How much Caribbean cuisines have restaurants are there in the world which has bricks and mortar and still cannot obtain a star? What I would like to see is people investing more in that side of Caribbean cuisine, because we have a lot of people investing in the authentic side and just bastardizing our cuisine, to be honest, and draining whatever life from it and turning some people from it because it's the first time they ever tried Caribbean cuisine and it was just god awful.
Mm.
And so what I would like to see is a bit more investment into the other side of Caribbean cuisine and also the authentic sides of Caribbean cuisine. And I feel when this happens, it would give a lot more younger Caribbean, African, even European chefs the surety and the confidence to step into Caribbean cuisine and play their trade and just allow us to experience Caribbean cuisine through their eyes.
Mm.
Mm.
Well said. Here's hoping we can come back to this and cheers to a star or two next year. Thank you for that. Last question for you. Obviously, Bayesian Independence Day is approaching, I believe, Sunday, the 30th. Do you do anything? Do you honor it at all? Or is it just, let's just get brunch at Flava Pepper? How are you celebrating?
No, it's coming up and we have some stuff planned for this weekend to keep it as Bajan as possible, on top of what we already do. But we got some conkeys and stuff my mother-in-law is gonna make. We got the pudding and sauce, we got the cocoa and steamed fish, we got the sweetbreads and different things for Independence Day. But I think this is gonna be 59th year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're getting up in there, we're getting up. 59 years of independence is incredible. And now Barbados is a republic. I think we'll be celebrating a bit different. Now that we are detached from the navel string of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel, to be honest, it's going to be a nice one and we're going to do something special. But we always try to want to do things more organic. So, we got the flags and we got the stuff getting ready, and, we're just going to keep it really, really nice and try to encourage a lot of our customers to come in and celebrate this with us
Yeah.
while educating them on why we are celebrating. But as Barbadians, we always keep it humble, because in this area, we can't play in a soca and spin poetry and stuff as normal. It's about like council fee. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do it the other way. We're gonna take it a bit cool, a bit easy, and
In Brixton? I don't know. What during the day?
Nah, we too far. We too far up. We maybe further down. We would have got rid of that, but we too far up. We too far up.
Okay, fair.
We're gonna do that and have a nice, chilled Independence Day while sharing it with others and being respectful to people's customs and people's understanding. Sometimes,
I hear that. Fair. Well, Chef, thank you so much. I'm immensely inspired. I'm looking forward to frequenting your restaurant and keeping in touch and seeing all the amazing things you do. Really appreciate you chatting.
Oh well, thanks again. Cheers.